けてく夜明けにこれが最後の願いね Let's go! ネオンの絡む花踊る影揺れるステップ流されるままにはにかむ横顔に遠くで響く鼓動探すほど見失い溶けてく夜明けにこれが最後の願いね嘘でもいいからみんなないものねだりね Let's go! 寂しげな言葉をつぶやく唇を音色と混ぜ合わせて消えてく人の波預ける指先に儚く揺れる光溶けてく夜明けにこれが最後の願いね嘘でもいいからみんなないものねだりね
失われた声街に飲まれて霞んでいく笑顔遠くになる瞳曖昧な距離さえ甘くてほんの少しでもこの夜に酔わせて
溶けてく夜明けにこれが最後の願いね嘘でもいいからみんなないものねだりね溶けてく夜明けにこれが最後の願いね嘘でもいいからみんなないものねだりね
What is up, everybody? Hopefully you can see me okay here. And welcome to stream number 8. Our chat is frozen right off the bat. It has been happening the last 3 times. I have no idea why. Let me refresh that real quick. And there we go. What is up, everyone? We're back again. Stream number 8. We've made it this far. 2 more till number 10. That'll be a nice little milestone. But for now, we are sticking to our original schedule. So this will be from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. JST. It's 9 p.m. right now, so a 2-hour stream. First hour will be Japanese language related questions. And I will put that right here, actually. So your Japanese questions here. And I will pin that message. And you can also use the QR code on the screen here. So first hour will be Japanese language related questions. And then the second hour will be life in Japan related questions. So yeah, feel free to read the QR code on the screen or click the link in the pinned comment in the chat and ask your questions. I'll be prioritizing the Japanese language questions first. And it feels like it's been a while. Like, it's been only 2 weeks as normal. I said this in my post too, but like, I don't know. It feels like it's been a month or 2 since I last did a stream, but maybe that's just me. But it's nice to see your faces again. Nubis as well, you got the nice little triple pedal going. It is growing out here. Thank you for being a long-term member. Appreciate your support always. Yeshu, yo, what is up? Yo, Onyx as well. How's it going? Konnichiwa, Benji told me about the stream. Snow posting, thank you for checking me out. Yeah, I was on Benji's stream last night because he was helping me film some footage for an upcoming video. So thanks for checking me out. If you guys don't know, Benji West is a great streamer who also does Japan related content. So I'm Yusef. You can ask questions in the chat if you'd like. I won't always get to the questions in the chat. Yes, as you see, I think you realize now, but yeah, it's the pinned comments in the chat, or it is the Marshmallow. Deviant, nice to see you again. Yo, Tokuyuu. Yo, Devianto. Always nice to see you around. And Nora, yes, you are a mod now. Congratulations on your promotion to your shield icon next to your name. You know, gotta do it. You're a homie. You're always out here. So yeah, if there's any trolls in the chat, you can put them in a timeout. But for the most part, everyone's pretty nice in my chat, so I don't think you'll ever really have to use the mod powers, but it's there if you need it. And Ethan Pro, nice to see you around too. Been a while. Hope you've been doing well. Long time no stream for me. No worries. And No, thanks for sending a question. Same to you as well, Ramen the Animator. Shall we get going then? Without further ado, let me refresh this inbox. Go to my received messages. Yes, we have some coming in here. All right, so shall we get started with our first question of the day? So Tokuyuu sensei, I just finished learning hiragana and want to get my N5 this year. Is it possible, and do you have any resources? Your old video resources don't work now. That is actually just straight propaganda, because they do work, and I've made a comment about this on my last video. But so first of all, I finished learning hiragana. Congratulations. And you want to get N5 this year. So I'm assuming your N5 this year will be December, the first Sunday in December, because they host the JLPT in the first Sunday of December or the first Sunday in July, I believe it is. So that would give you, so today is May 31st, that would give you 7 months until December, maybe 6 months, I guess, because it's the beginning of December. That's definitely doable. And you already knowing hiragana is a nice little bonus. So next, what you have to do is learn katakana. I'm sure you already know that. Learn about 100 kanji, and then maybe 300 vocab, and like maybe, I don't know what it is, maybe 100 grammar points, something like that. I mean, as you probably know, I have it written in my how to get fluent in Japanese from nothing video. And when you said you asking for resources and my old video resources don't work now, they do work. Because I actually just checked them recently. So I think the number one question I get, if I can, yeah, just share my screen here. Okay, let me move my stream settings over to the left here so I can see what's going on. So the biggest question I get is like the Nihongo Shark website doesn't work anymore, because the Nihongo Shark website is the one I say is a good resource for using the N5 vocabulary deck. So if we go to Nihongo Shark website, the only difference is that they changed the link. So I don't remember what I said in my video, but in my video I said, okay, go to the Nihongo Shark website, I have it linked, and then you go click on this word and then it'll take you to the N5 vocabulary deck, but they just switched the name of the link. So you're just gonna have to find it, and I put it in the pinned comment on my channel, but just click around, you'll find it. And thank you, Rohit, for sending 10 gifted memberships. I literally just started to stream. Have not earned this whatsoever, but thank you so much for the 10 gifted memberships. And thank you so much for showing up to these streams all the time. I appreciate it. Much love. And we are getting closer to hopefully our next emote that we can add to the chat. I'll have to double check what our number that we have to aim for is. But definitely 10 gifted subs definitely takes us very close. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Some of the flashcards don't work. I mean, they should work. I mean, at the end of the day, even if, say, this Nihongo Shark website N5 vocabulary deck doesn't work, say it doesn't work, you can literally go onto Google and just say, so Japanese N5 vocab deck, Anki, and you'll get a ton. Like here, literally the first option, JLBT N5 to N1 vocabulary. And then you can just download it. Okay, this one is all of them, so you probably don't want to download that one, but here, ultimate JLBT N5 vocabulary deck, because you don't want to be learning N1 vocab at the beginning. And you can just download this one. And this one has the reading, the kanji, the meaning, and a recording as well. That's a nice little bonus. And if you don't like these flashcards, then you can still like go next down the list and see what another deck is and just try them out and see which one works for you. So yeah, as time goes on, resources get outdated, but you can always just make an easy Google search for the Anki deck, and then you can watch my video again for the Anki setup, and then you can get going. It's my last evening in Japan though, so I'll saboru my mod duties for tonight. Have fun though. No worries, Nora. Enjoy your last night in Nihon and have a safe flight back tomorrow then, I suppose. Thanks for dropping by. And Indie Coffee, good. I'm good. How are you doing? Nice to see you around. And currently 12 a.m. and I'm here. Let's go, No. We love the commitment. What time zone is 12 a.m.? That's not Australia. Is that New Zealand? Appreciate you sticking around for the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, to be here. All right, let's move on to our next question here. So I don't know how to learn vocab. I couldn't really pick up anything in your video. What do you do? So yeah, couldn't pick anything up in my video. Okay, well, I mean, a lot of the tips are in the video, so a lot of what I'm going to be explaining is just what I say in the video here, which I linked earlier in the chat. But say you can't pick up anything, so you're going through this deck here. It's like a noru, right? Let me see if we can make this font larger. So we got noru here, noru, and it means to get on, like to ride, board, whatever. Use it to say ride a train or ride a bus. So bus ni noru. And say, okay, well, it's not sticking. Like I've looked over this flashcard like 10, 20 times, noru, and it's not like I can't remember that it means to like get on a bus. So another technique you can use is to use mnemonics. So mnemonic is a memory technique where you basically just take the word noru. So this one, or noru. And just to be extra clear, I'll even write it in, that's Nora, who just left. I'll even write it in the English here. So noru. So you take this and then you say, okay, this means to ride. Say like a vehicle, right? To ride a vehicle. So that's what it means, noru. And so what I would do, so if I'm struggling, I've looked at this 10, 20 times, I can't have it stick. So a mnemonic, by the way, has a very funny spelling. Mnemonic. What is it? Mnemonic, something like that. I think that's right, but actually no, it's not a P, it's an M, I think. Mnemonic, something like that. Mnemonic. You can Google it, it'll come out correct. So mnemonic is basically the memory technique. And what I would do is basically you have your word here. So this is the word you're trying to learn, right? Noru. So I would take this part, like, so the reading, noru, and associate it with the word to ride. So I would literally just make up a sentence. So you could say, I don't like riding buses nor trains because they're stinky. You don't need to add that last part, because they're stinky, but we'll just put it there. They're stinky. I hate the stinky people who don't take showers that are on trains. Okay. And so what we're doing here is we're just making a sentence, because our brains as humans are better equipped to remember stories, right? It's very hard to remember random words, like say noru. Like that is just a jumble of words when you're just starting off Japanese. Like I feel for you, it's tough. It's noru, to ride. But our brains are better equipped to learn stories. So what you do here is, so we're associating noru with to ride. Okay, ride is here, and nor. So I would use like an English sounding word that is similar to this word here, noru. So I don't like riding buses nor trains. So I'm using this sentence as a story to connect riding, noru, with the word nor, noru. And then I just need to remember what this sentence is. Okay, so next time I see the word noru, okay, what is noru? Okay, I use, it sounds like nor. Okay, buses nor trains. Okay, I don't like riding buses or trains. Okay, noru is to ride. And then you can use that to remember the word. And then over time, after you're exposed to the word long enough, you won't need the mnemonic and you'll just naturally forget it. But if you're really struggling to learn a word or several words, just come up with a random sentence here like I just did. I literally just came up with this on the spot, and like have fun with it. Like whatever makes sense to you, you can use. Like maybe this one doesn't work for you, but just run with it. And the good thing is, learning vocab is hardest at the beginning because you just don't know any vocab, right? It's literally just a random jumble of sounds. Noru, noru, noru. Like that doesn't mean anything. But once you know the word noru, it's a lot easier to learn words later on, like norikairu. Okay, norikairu, norikairu. Which means, I'll just put it here too, to transfer. Okay, so if you're like transferring from one train to the next, you say norikairu. And that's a lot easier to learn after you've learned noru, because it's literally just has the word noru, and then kairu is like to change over. So you'll know both of those words and you're just putting them together and it's a new word, and it's just so much easier to pick up. So even if you're struggling with words a lot in the beginning, because you will be, because they're all new to you, even if you're struggling in the beginning, it'll get easier. Don't be afraid to use mnemonics to help you like cheat your way to remembering. And then once you're used to it and you can just remember it as the word it is, then you'll naturally forget the mnemonic, you'll learn it, and then words later on will come a lot more easily to you. Check up our messages in the chat, since I took a while answering that one. Yeah, and just studying 30 minutes a day is like huge. I agree. I think that's a great pace to work at if you have like a busy schedule. Even 20 minutes a day of like focused studying is solid, but 30 minutes I'd say is like a really good amount to go for. That's both reasonable and substantial. Yeah. Hate those stinky trains, but the trains in Japan are not too stinky, so they know how to be well mannered. And Asian people just don't have BO. It's just like very unfair. Just like non-Asian people for the most part have a lot of BO, including myself, but Japanese people don't have it, so they're not smelly on the trains. Let me refresh my inbox here so we can get some new questions going. All right. So, hi, my name is Yusef, and I've started studying Japanese seriously this past month. I've been putting quite a bit of time for kanji, and right now I recognize around 150 characters. Good job. I now recognize 150 characters in English. Okay. And at least the kunyomi, I mostly know only one reading. Okay. I kind of see what you're saying. Do you think that I should memorize all the readings to be considered N5? And what do you think my next step should be? Okay. So you've learned the kanji in English. I'm a little bit confused by what you mean by that, unless we're talking like, so let's say, so first of all, yeah, my screen is still shared here. Kanshido, great free resource for looking at kanji. So Kanshido kanji list by JLP2 level. Let's look at that. Okay. So no, I do not want to translate this page because we're trying to learn Japanese here. Okay. So you said 150, but let's just pretend it's these 80 here and probably a few of the N4 ones here. But so by you learned it in English. So I'm guessing, so this one here, this first one here is hito to mean person. So I'm guessing you mean that you've learned that this kanji means person, but you haven't necessarily learned that it means hito. And you say you do know at least the kunyomi for most of them, so you probably know it's hito, but not the onyomi, which is this one in on. You can see that, which is jin or nin. Do you think that I should memorize all the readings in order to be considered N5? And what do you think the next step should be? So I get asked this question a lot, and basically you don't need to know all the readings for the characters. You do not need to know all of them, especially at N5 or just N4, whatever. You don't need to know all the readings for the characters. The key is that you know the main reading. Yes, the kunyomi, that's probably going to be key. So know the kunyomi, the main reading, and then go through a list of the common words that use that character. Okay, so let's say, what's a good example here? I would even just say maybe something like a number, roku, mutsu. Yeah, what's a better example? Damn, that's tricky, because hito is like a particularly tricky one because it has a lot of exception readings. So that's why I'm trying to look at a different one here. Okay, this is probably a better example. Okay, so here we go. So here's the kanji for rain. Okay, so rain with the kunyomi is ame. Ame. And you can see here that the onyomi, the Chinese reading, is u. U. Okay, should I know that it means that it's pronounced u as the onyomi? First, look at the common words here. Okay, so let's look at the readings that say u. I'll make the screen even bigger so you guys can absolutely see this. So it says, okay, u readings here. So let's say, okay, click find all. All right, this is a hack, by the way. I'm including this in like my next video, but this is like a little sneak peek hack for you guys. So if you're using Kanshido, then you click find all and you'll see this number here. Okay, and what this number indicates is the N level that this vocab is associated with. So if we look at this one, so the most common word using this kanji as reading u is uten, rainy weather. And if we look at it, the blue square with a 1 means that it's N1 level vocab. So you do not need to know this N1 level vocab when you're at N5 or N4, like especially at N5, like you don't need to know that. And if we like scroll down, like it doesn't even have an N level, like usui, rainwater. I've never heard of that in my life. Like you don't need to know these. So since the most common word that uses the u reading isn't even at your level, like isn't at like N2, let alone N5, don't bother. So that's how I would determine whether or not you should learn a reading. Is there a vocab that uses that reading at your level? If yes, then know it. If no, don't worry about it. Boom. And Nubis, thank you for the super chat. 99 euros, I believe. It's been a while since I've seen that symbol for currency, but I'm pretty sure it's euros. Don't hate me if I get that wrong. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. That is actually the first super chat I've ever gotten, because I actually turned them on last week because a beautiful viewer said that I should turn them on, and I was like, I don't know if I want to turn them on. It feels kind of like weird, like letting people send like money just like for the chat. Like I let the memberships happen because at least there's emotes, and we can try to like get more like emotes with more memberships. But you know, I thought about it, I was like, if some people want to send their support this way, then I can leave it open as an option. So thank you so much for your support always, Nubis. The website is called Kanshido with an A. Yeah. And yes, there will be a new vid soon. Yes. I'm literally just waiting for the sponsor to just get back with me with like the final check. And then it's all good, just uploading that video. And then I've written the scripts for the next 2 videos essentially. And so those will be pretty quick to go, relatively speaking, for me. And I did some filming yesterday as well with my boy Benji West. So we should be cooking with the uploads coming up. And no worries, Ramen, if you gotta head out. Thanks for rewatching it later, and thanks for dropping by. I appreciate it. And good luck to Youssef for going for the N5. So if you had to pick a countryside to retire and live in, what would it be and why? So this is an interesting question, but I'm going to save it for the second half if I can come back to it later, because we're trying to focus on Japanese language right now. Because I will go on a tangent. I will take all the time in the world to answer this question, or just like any questions you guys ask. So we'll try to keep me on track here. Would it be possible to get N5 in 1 year, then the next N4, then next N3, and you get the idea within 5 years? Okay. So is it possible to get N5 in 1 year, N4 in the next year, N3 in the next year, and then so N5 in 5 years essentially? Yes. Yes, it's possible. And why do I know that? Because I got it. I got the N1 in 5 years. So it doesn't matter what your pace is, whether you're getting N5 the first year, N4 the next year, whatever. Like, it's definitely possible to get N1 in 5 years, and people have done it faster than me for sure. So yes, it's possible. I would say you want to put in at least a consistent 30 minutes to an hour every day of studying, right? So I would say at least 30 minutes a day of focused studying, and then maybe 30 minutes to an hour of like good listening practice, maybe some reading practice, you know, things that are a little bit more fun, but they're still helping your Japanese, and you're still focused on it, right? It's not like background music or like you have a podcast on in your ears, but you're doing something else and you're not even listening to it. That does not count. I'm talking about focused study and then focused practice. And if you do that for half an hour, 60 minutes every day, you can definitely do N1 in 5 years for sure. But it's got to be good studying. Duolingo does not count. Get that out of here. So when I was learning Japanese, what was my daily routine? It really depended on the time. Like when I first started studying, it was just like I would literally spend like 8 to 12 hours a day studying for like a month or two, because it was leading up to my trip to Japan, and I just had summer vacation after finishing high school. But that was hectic. I was literally just like grabbing whatever resources I could find online and just studying it. Do not recommend that. And then after that, you know, I took some classes at universities, and like I was busy with school, so like it was just like that maybe class that I had, you know, 3 times a week for a little bit. And then when I went back to self-studying, then it was like the 30 minutes to 60 hours, 30 to 60 minutes. 60 hours in a day is unheard of. So 30 to 60 minutes a day, I would study my kanji and do some vocab practice and do my Anki, etc. Yeah. And I would also talk to exchange students who came to my university, which was also great speaking practice. All right, let's see if we can get to another question. Indie coffee, tipping culture is rude, so this is out of spite. Well, thank you for spiting me with your tip. I am more than happy to be spited. I I wouldn't say tipping culture is rude in Japan. Well, we wouldn't say it's rude. It's just not a thing here. So if you try to tip in Japan, they will like chase you. Like you tip, you walk out of the restaurant, they will chase you out the restaurant and be like, hey sir, you forgot your money, because they'll think you accidentally left it there. Like tipping is not a thing here, and thank God it's not a thing here, because like I think tipping culture is so dumb. Like I was born and raised in Canada, like tipping culture is a thing in Canada. I just think it's just lame. Like come on, like everyone's doing their job here. Like just because you're in the service industry doesn't mean you deserve an extra 15%. And they're like, it used to be 15%, but now they're like raising it to 18, 20%, 25% as like the standard, just to like milk more money. So it's kind of silly. But that being said, I will most definitely accept your tip. So thank you. No, I appreciate your support. All right, let's try to find our next question. All right, random question. How many kanji do you know? How many kanji do I know? That's a good question. I'm not sure. I think like I know all the joyo kanji, which is like a 2100 something. I don't know. Joyo kanji. How many is that again? Okay, so that's 2136. So in theory, I know all these kanji. To be fair, there are times where I mess up the reading for these kanji, especially like the more complex ones that aren't used very often. Like I'll still like be like, okay, what is that one again? Oh yeah, it's probably this. Or then like, or I'll just get the reading wrong in general. So like, I know 2100 kanji. And then beyond these kanji, there are some like rarer kanji that are used in names or like in really specific cases of alternate words. So it's my kanji knowledge has probably gone beyond this a little bit, but not like a whole lot, you know, and not that I would be really confident in. If I had to put a number to it, maybe say 2300, maybe something like that, you know, but a lot of them is kind of like a little vague sometimes if I can actually remember it or not. That's what I give me. But yeah, even like once you pass the N1 like me, like it's important to like review the kanji, because you know it's easy to forget, especially if you're not like reading every day. Thank you for your fun random question. All right. I'm a few months into Japanese learning adventure. I've been using Wanikani mostly for my studying. I know probably 150 kanji along with a few hundred vocab. Awesome. I write my N5 exam in about 5 weeks. Okay, so you're doing the first Sunday in July then. Yeah, cool. I struggle with listening and reading. What do you recommend to pass those sections in the N5 exam? So struggle with listening and reading. Yeah, so listening and reading. Yeah, so if we start with listening, like you can, like there's so many resources. So if you go to Japanese, say like Japanese N5 listening practice. So first of all, I mean, you could just like Google it here and you'll get some options. But, you know, my favorite ones that I used, let me go to YouTube real quick. Yeah, so let's see here. Okay, so yeah, I guess, yeah, this one here. So I don't know if like this specific channel is good, but this one is just says the Nihongo Nook. But there are literally YouTube videos that have listening practices from past JLPT exams. And like your listening practice could not get better than this, because this is literally what they have used on the test before. So 100% you should use these. And the great thing about listening to this, so another thing you could do, what is it? There's also like Japanese with Shun, I think his name is. Yeah, so Japanese with Shun. So he's a YouTuber. Literally look at this thumbnail right here. You can see this, right? N6 to N5. There is no N6, but like he speaks so slowly and like clearly that even if you're not used to listening to Japanese at all, it's really good practice just to listen to what the sounds are supposed to sound like. So there's YouTube channels like him that you can listen to. But the great thing about listening to past listening tests as well is that you have to understand, because these listening tests also have the questions as well. So they'll ask you the question. I don't know if they write it here. Yeah, they kind of like write out the sentence here, but they're basically saying like just pick the best answer from 1 to 4. But they will verbally say what the options are, 1 to 4, and they'll say, okay, what's the best answer, after they give you the whole listening passage. And it's great practice, because you can't kid yourself. Because a big problem with a lot of people who are studying Japanese is they'll watch YouTube videos, like they'll watch videos that are way beyond their level, like anime or like just regular Japanese native level content, and they'll be like, oh yeah, no, I'm getting it. But like most of what they're getting is the fact that there's so much visual cues going on that they can kind of just infer what's kind of going on. But when it's a test, there's no visual cues and you have to answer the question, so you know if you're actually understanding or not. So that's a good way for listening. And then for reading practice, I think Toku graded readers are great as well. So Toku graded readers, there's a PDF. So there is literally a PDF of, where is it? Where is my PDF? Okay, well, I mean, even if you just go to this Reddit post yourself. So 50 level 0 stories. So it's on these like Google Drives, but essentially it's 1,000 pages of a PDF of short stories in Japanese from every level, from you're literally a baby who doesn't understand anything to like actual N1 or native level reading content. So Toku graded readers right here, would 100% recommend. And it's like kind of little stories. I mean, of course, because it's like it's N5, like they're stories, but it's like very basic. It's like, this is a blue book, this is a blue bike, like, you know, that's the extent of it, because that's what you can understand at N5. But it's still more interesting than just reading a textbook. And finally, I would say for reading practice, you can also do tests, like, so J test for you, so N5 reading. So Japanese test for you, or for short JT for you. Great site for resources, and just look up N5 reading. Yeah, and you have exercises here. So we can go to exercise number 1, click on it. Okay, it just linked me to the same page. Okay, and then here you go. So kino kasa o kaimashita. And it's great because then they only include the kanji for the words that you should actually know the kanji for, right? So they know it's your N5 level. Ah, その傘ですか? 綺麗な傘ですね。高かったですか? Like just a little passage, and then it'll ask you, 昨日買った傘はどんな傘ですか? And then you just like say what you think the answer is. Great practice. And this is all free. Like normally you have to buy a workbook for this, but this is just free content. So like shout outs to JTest for you, because they're really helping out the community here. But yeah, and they have content all the way from N5 to N1. It's great. And Indie Coffee will always recommend Renshu. Yeah, I don't know if I've tried that one before. Is that okay, I'm guessing it's this site here, Renshu. Forums. Yeah, looks like you need to log in. I mean, if it works for you, then it works for you. And maybe other people can try it out. Maybe I could try it out in my free time, because I don't want to spend time making an account and just poking around for now. But definitely try whatever works for you. Ohayo Sensei. Ohayo Lax the Gamer. Nice to see you in here. And night falls. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for asking the question. Glad I could get around and answer it. And yeah, definitely check out all the resources. Like, they're pretty much all resources that I used myself. So they're really helpful and they're all free. They're 100% free, which is the greatest part. Is Japanese culture force you to work until 8 p.m.? So Life in Japan questions will be from 10 p.m. But just very quickly, it just depends on the company. All right, shall we move on to our next question then? So I've been studying Japanese for a while and I've reached a JLPT N4 level. Good job. Now practicing for N3. While my reading and listening capabilities are good, I can consume Japanese media. I suffer heavily from trying to speak Japanese and make my own sentences. Yes, for sure. What are ways I can practice articulating sentences in Japanese? Okay, yeah. So how can I practice making sentences in Japanese? So this is a problem that a lot of people have, because even if you're at a good intermediate level, the problem is you probably got to that intermediate level mostly from using textbooks or just finding content online and self-studying, whatever your way. But you've probably learned kanji, you've learned vocab, and say you've learned grammar. That's great. But how do you actually take that content knowledge and make it practical knowledge, practical, useful knowledge that you can actually turn into speaking and listening? It looks like your listening is okay in this case, but a lot of people tend to struggle with a little bit of both, because there's the content side of things and then there's the practical use side of things. And listening and speaking are both the practical use side. So for speaking, it can be difficult for a couple of reasons. Say if you, obviously the number one advice people would say is just go out and talk to people. Okay, but what if you don't live in Japan? Like, who do you talk to? Like, no one else speaks Japanese. Okay, well, say you could find a Japanese person or you do live in Japan. The problem is, even at N4, you've made it to like a solid intermediate level. They're still probably going to be speaking really quickly and it's going to be hard to catch them or catch what they say. And then when you're speaking to a person, like, you're really nervous. You're like, oh my God, like, I just want to keep this conversation going. And then you just kind of like throw out whatever you can remember, but it's not really full sentences and it just kind of like falls apart. It can be nerve-wracking at that stage. I would say the number one thing you can do is just practice talking to yourself. This is really underrated, but just practice. Think about things, like literally look around you in your environment and think about what you would want to express. Okay, so like if I'm looking at my environment here, so I'm here, I'd be like, okay, my room is bright. We can say my room is bright. Okay, how would I say my room is bright? Okay, so room is heya, bright is akarui, and then my room, so it's like watashi, and then okay, mine, so no. Okay, so watashi no heya wa akarui desu. So if you're N4 level, you should probably know all those vocab. Maybe some of them are N3 technically, who knows? It's kind of on that bridge, like where you're at right now. So room, bright, you know, mine, whatever. But these are like simple thoughts that you would want to express in regular conversation. But the problem is when you're doing real live time conversation, like you can get lost in the nerves and you don't really have time to think. So that's why speaking to yourself is so great, because there's no pressure. You're just by yourself. You have all the time to think. And you can really dig deep into what you've studied, what grammar you've studied, what vocab you studied, and try to build those sentences. My room is bright. Okay, what else? Okay, this thing is a square, or like this is a water bottle. You know, I am thirsty. Nodo ga kawaita. So you can just practice saying these things. That's a good way to just get some easy, low pressure way of speaking practice. And then once you're a little bit more comfortable, okay, let's say you're not comfortable yet. Say you're still just scared of talking to people. You can do shadowing. So shadowing is where you literally speak in line with a Japanese person. So say if we go back to Japanese with Shun. So he speaks really slow Japanese. Maybe it's too slow for you at this point, but if you're really struggling, then it could still be really good for you. you play his video. I don't know if I have the audio turned on for this. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Okay, so he's saying where he lives. Okay, so he's saying he lives in Shinsaibashi and Namba in Osaka. We can't hear it. Okay, well that's too bad. Yeah, I have it turned off for now. But anyway, so he's basically just saying, so I live in Shinsaibashi, Namba. So he's saying Shinsaibashi, Namba desu. So even just here. So let's say this Minami no downtown no area wa. So he's saying the south downtown area is, and then the next sentence comes after. But he'll be saying in his video, Minami no downtown no area wa. And he says it very slowly. So then you just replay it, go back, and then say it with him. Minami no downtown no area wa. Replay it again. Minami no downtown no area wa. And you just do that over and over again, and you get practice into what the Japanese should feel like on your lips. Like literally, it's a lot of muscle memory, just getting the Japanese muscle movements with your lips and your tongue. And it's great listening practice. And then once you practice enough on your own, so you've done, say, talking to yourself, explaining your environment, and you do some shadowing of some videos, then yeah, you can, like, say, try to meet people online. You can do Hello Talk, where you can do video calls with people who are Japanese trying to learn English, and you can do language exchanges that way online if there's no Japanese people in your area. You can do some like online tutoring services, or you can try to like go on like Ome TV or like VR chat and meet people online that way. Like there's a lot of things you can do. Yeah. And very delayed, but Rohit, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Jesus, 15 so far this stream from you alone. That is insane. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you. Thank you for all the support and the love. Feeling it out here. Let's see. Just checked out Renshu. Thank you so much, Indie Coffee. Yeah, glad that you guys are sharing your resources with each other. And Found in Japan, hello again, welcome. Thank you for coming back, appreciate it. And thank you for checking me out on Benji's stream. Yeah, quite the night. Yeah, that was definitely a fun night, just going around. We're basically, for like my next video, I was trying to go around because I'm making a video on how to become fluent in Japanese. Like it's gonna be like an all-encompassing one, and I wanted to like surprise Japanese people with me speaking Japanese. So I was going out with my buddy Benji. He was my cameraman, and we were just like going up to people at like the bars at night in Osaka and being like, hey, like, you know, my name's Sanana, and like I'm just like hanging out here, and just like talk to them in English and then hit them with that Japanese, and then you're just like, you could speak Japanese this whole time. And it was a lot of fun because we just ended up meeting just a bunch of people, and like Osaka people are the best because they're just like so down to talk, down to have a good time, especially if they're at the bars and just having some drinks. Like such a great atmosphere. But yeah, thanks for checking it out, Found in Japan. Also, Japanese people will be really nice, so even if they talk to you they maybe will allow some bad habits. Yeah, I mean, they'll definitely understand that you're a foreigner and that, you know, you might walk with your shoes on inside like a place that you shouldn't, or you might be a little bit louder. They'll understand that you maybe don't know the culture that well. But the best thing we can do is be as aware as we can, and then hopefully they can teach us, and we're just receptive to that. Yeah, and my next video will be coming out soon, as I mentioned earlier. And pitch accent, I wouldn't say the pitch accent is super important for N5 and 4. I would just say like know it exists. Like know what the patterns are. Maybe there are like 4 patterns, essentially like high pitch in the beginning, the middle, the end, or just flat essentially. But don't worry about it. It's like N5, N4, like it's more like N2, N1 and beyond. Like when you really want to like hone in on sounding native. It's just good to know maybe in the beginning, just to be aware of, so you have an ear for it. And when you hear these words, like, okay, computer. Okay, that sounds like it kind of goes up in the middle. Computer. And even if you don't know like it exactly, you can kind of start to hear like, oh, okay, there's pitch accents in some parts of words. That's about it. Yeah, it was fun yesterday for sure. Hidoi ite itemashita ne. Yeah, that was my favorite part when basically someone like we were talking to some guys at the bar. They were super chill. And we were talking in English, and then so they were trying their best in English, and this guy had an app that he was developing for his company. And he had just gone on a business trip to Fukuoka, and he's just coming back to Osaka. And he's like, hey, we're developing this app. And then in Japanese, like, oh, kore muzui ne. Like, oh, this is going to be so hard to describe. I don't know how to do it. And then I was just like, oh, Nihongo demo daijoubu da yo. Like, oh, you can say it in Japanese, no problem. And he's like, hidoi. You're so cruel. Why did you make me try to speak English this whole time? Hidoi. I love that one. That was one of my favorite reactions. Yeah. Anyways, before I get too off track, let's try to work on our next question here. All right, so I learned hiragana and I can write it properly too. My current issue is that I take too much time to read. That's relatable. I was trying to read Momotaro, a Japanese fairy tale written in hiragana, and whenever I see a character like he, my brain freezes and goes through ha, hi, hu, he, ho before recognizing it. This keeps happening while I read. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just practice, right? So the fact that you can recognize it at the end of the day is huge. Like that is the biggest thing that you've done. Like you've learned the hiragana clearly and you can write it out. That's awesome. So you'll see that symbol, the he, right? If we can get rid of our friend Shun here, you know, you'll see that it's he. Let's make this black, please. And then make this as a big, so you'll see that hat and you'll just like, you're not sure, you're like, okay, it's like yeah, ha hi hu he ho, which one is it again? Okay, ha is that, yeah, ha is like, okay, wait, in my head, like, okay, the ha, that's ha, and then ho, what's ho? Okay, that's ho, so it must, okay, I think it's he, this one's he. Yeah, it's slow, and if you're trying to like read like that for the exam, then you're screwed. And if you're not trying to take the exam, then you're not having fun reading because you're taking so long to read. But that is so natural. Like it's gonna take time because they're just unfamiliar symbols to you. Like you've learned them, which is amazing, but you know, to make it feel like a second alphabet that you recognize it as quickly as like English letters, it's just gonna take time. But every time, like I can guarantee you, every time you look at a character and you think, you're like, hey, ha hi hu he ho, okay, it's he, this one's he. Every time you do that, you're re-cementing your knowledge in your head that this symbol is he. And that's just going to help you. Like every time you do it, maybe not every single time you get faster, but like on average, every time you do it, you will get faster. And you'll just get more and more natural at it. And eventually you'll see that, like when I look at this, I just see he. Like when I read your question, I just saw he. I don't go through the letters on the list anymore, even though I probably used to like you did. It's just a matter of just seeing it enough times, and now you're just associating that with the word or the letter he, the pronunciation. So yeah, it's frustrating at first because it's like very slow, but like you've already done great work by learning the hiragana and being able to come up with the answer in your head, even if it takes a little bit of time. It's just practice at that point. So just keep it up. And let me take a little swig of water just so I can not be choking on my own saliva here. Yeah, I love Osaka too. Yeah, it feels like my home in the US. Yeah, I mean, Osaka is just like so friendly, right? For sure. That's why I want to stay here as well. And 18 years is insane. And Neo Spation, what? Saying 50 gifted memberships is insanity. What on earth? The most gifted subs I've ever received in the history of the universe by a long shot. Thank you so much. The list of gifted memberships just keeps going and going and going. We're definitely gonna have enough for the next emote, if not a couple. Making up for lost time from last time, my bad. Absolutely no worries, Neospatian. There is no lost time whatsoever. There's no pressure to donate. don't even have 50 viewers, but it's gonna just give them out to whoever can take them. But yeah, thank you so much, Neo, for your support. That is insanity. That's a major W in the chat. Thank you so much. So yeah, no making up for lost time is ridiculous because there's no pressure to donate at any point whatsoever, even if you've donated before. But thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, and it just makes us have more emotes for the chat to make and use. So yeah, I got a good tournament win setting my love. That's amazing. Congrats on your tournament win. I can't remember, was it Yu-Gi-Oh or was it a different one? I remember you told me before, but I remember you telling me you share some of the love from your tournament winnings. So thank you so much, and congratulations on your win. Sasuga. That's amazing. Try to scroll up past all the gifted membership notifications, see if we missed any messages. Great thing is he is the same in hiragana and katakana. Yeah, so a lot of like hiragana and katakana is like the exact same. Like, look at that. That's hiragana and katakana. Like, that's pretty nice. Same with ka. It's pretty much the same. Just take out the stroke and make it like sharper. Yeah, so it is nice once you've learned hiragana that a lot of the katakana are just kind of freebies. And I would like to upload more vlogs in the future too. I'm okay. I'm glad that you enjoy them, and I'll try to make more in the future. But again, we gotta, you know, prioritize our time on which videos to work on. And Rohit, as I scrolled up to read the messages I may have missed, Rohit sending another 20 gifted memberships. This is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. He has a nose, yeah. What the heck? Because I'd scrolling up. They're getting competitive with the gifted. I know they're popping off here. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Rohit. Again, sending more gifted memberships. It's insane. Holy moly. I literally have not done anything but answer like a few questions. Thank you so much. And Indie Coffee, thank you for gifting a membership too. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Big love out here, guys. Thank you so much for the support. And I will be working on making more videos. Like, I know you guys you look forward to the long form videos, and I guarantee you I work on them every day. I just put so much time into them, and I'm waiting on a sponsor just to get back to me on like finalizing this one that I can finally just put out. But yeah, I am working on being able to upload more often because I know you guys love them, and I love making them and being able to share them with you guys. So thank you for your patience. All right, let me try to get to a new one. So, yo, Onyx here. I usually watch your videos and enjoy them a lot. I recently stumbled upon your live streams and would also like to learn Japanese, but don't know where to start. Any recommendations? Well, if you'd like to start, I do have a video on how to learn Japanese from nothing, as I just put in the chat. And little sneak peek for you guys. I am working on a video on even more kind of like a prequel to this video, like how to basically the inner workings of the Japanese language as a whole, because I find like there's a lot of tips on YouTube or in general about like how to learn the hiragana or like the kanji and grammar, whatever. But I feel like before you even study all that, it's good to just know what the Japanese language is and how it's actually different from Japanese. Like, you know, if you were to say like, you know, I eat food, right? So I kid you not, this is what I thought when I first started studying Japanese. And please tell me that one of you guys thought this as well. But I thought watashi taberu tabemono, right? So I thought, okay, so this is like what these words are in Japanese, right? So I is eat, I is watashi, eat is taberu, food is tabemono, right? I thought if I just learned the Japanese equivalent for English words and just plug them in, I know Japanese. Like, I just have to look up enough words, study them enough, and then that's all I got to do. And then that's what Japanese is. I'm sure all of you know probably that this is not the case. But it's not the case for a lot of reasons, like the different word order, the particles you use, how you write it, how people express themselves differently. Like there's so many aspects to Japanese that I think a lot of people don't really explain in the beginning that I think would be helpful to know in the beginning. So that is one of my upcoming videos, is like the whole overarching, like what is Japanese as a language. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. So hopefully that'll also be a good place for you to start as well. But in the meantime, I do have my video on how to start from nothing, and that can get you going on the fundamentals. And Indie Coffee, chump change in front of these crazy donos. No worries. We do not shame donations out here. Thank you so much for your support. We are the little fishes. Too funny, Nubis. And no, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A. Let me refresh my inbox. And it's also 9:56, so we'll try to do a couple more questions here for Japanese language, and then we'll move on to life in Japan. Okay, this is a big one. So can you explain the topic particles? I'm struggling a lot with them. I don't know if it's just a me problem though. So yeah, this is a huge one. So by the topic particles, you probably mean wa versus ga, right? Right? Whoever asked this question, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. But this is the age-old question that so many people have. Wa versus ga. And I could go on forever talking about like what the differences are here. So topic marker. And then, so this one isn't a topic marker. This one's a subject marker. Okay, so it's like a fine difference. But it makes more sense once you're a little more familiar with it. And I did mean wa versus ga. Okay, thank you for the clarification. No. So topic marker. So topic marker is let me just write this out. So what about X? The what about X? That is what we're saying with the topic marker. So what about X? And then this one is who or what is doing the action? So what about X and who or what is doing the action? So wa versus ga, age-old question. Wa is the topic marker, ga is the subject marker. That's what you'll get from any textbook. Excuse me. That's what you get from any textbook. But of course, just seeing topic subject marker is not really gonna explain much in your head. It is just, they're just words. So think of it more like, so wa is asking the question, what about X? Okay, X being whatever it's marking. Whereas ga is who or what is doing the action. Okay, so if we say kare. So kare ga konbini ni iku. Okay, so this is one that like always confused me. Like these kind of sentences here. So kare ga konbini ni iku, which is like he will go to the convenience store, versus kare wa konbini ni iku. Okay, so this always confused me. And if someone knows the difference here in chat, feel free to put it down, and you're a freaking genius. I'm sorry, this should be blue. Kare ga konbini ni iku. So they both technically mean, so he will go to the convenience store. Low-key struggled spelling convenience, but we're not going to talk about that. So he will go to the convenience store. But what's the difference here? So wa versus ga. So because wa is asking what about X, so essentially they both do mean he will go to the convenience store. If you translate it to English, it'll both times be he will go to the convenience store. But there's a slight nuance difference here. So what is the difference? So we're asking what about X? 彼はコンビニに行く. So when you say 彼はコンビニに行く, so you're saying what about X? So particles always affect the word that they come after. So wa is affecting 彼は. So because it's affecting 彼, we're essentially asking what about 彼, him. Okay? So what about X? What about 彼? 彼は? So what about him? What is he doing? 彼はコンビニに行く. So in other words, so 彼はコンビニに行く. What about him? He's going to the store. He's going to the store. Okay? He's going to the store. So it's almost like our focus is on what is he doing? Because I'm interested. He could be playing the piano. He could be walking in the park. Oh, he's going to the store. He's going to the store. Whereas this one, this is very subtle. Like even if I explain this, might be very confusing for some of you still. But 彼がコンビニに行く. Who or what is doing the action? This is almost more focused on this action コンビニに行く, going to the convenience store. So you can think of it like 彼がコンビニに行く. He is going to the convenience store. Not her, not my mom, not me, but he is going. 彼がコンビニに行く. There's more emphasis like he and not others are the one going to the convenience store. So the main question that is implicitly being asked and answered here is who's going to the convenience store? Who's doing that action? 彼が. He will be doing it. Versus what about X? 彼はコンビニに行く. We're more focused on him. What is he doing? Oh, he's going to the convenience store. The convenience store is just like the additional information here. It's very subtle, but that is essentially what the difference is in these kind of sentences. So a lot of times you'll use ga. It sounds very emphatic when you say ga. Like if you say like 俺がやる, like I'll do it. No one else, like you guys stand back. I'll do it. 俺がやる. Right? So you hear that maybe in a lot of anime, like I'll take care of the big boss, you know, like 俺がやっつける, you know? Versus like what, like 俺はやる. It sounds kind of like it's just an objective statement, like I'm gonna do it. やる. 俺はやる. And you don't even usually say 俺は. You just say やる. I'll do it. Yeah, so that's the difference. It's very subtle, but hopefully maybe it gives you a little bit of like a little bit more context on what the subtle differences is. And I could keep going, but like I could give another example that will help maybe elucidate it a little bit further. But again, this is going to take a while because wa versus ga is a very like nuanced topic. I asked that question in the Q&A too. Nice news. I'm glad we're all on board with this question. And Neospatian, yeah, thank you for sharing the tournament winnings. And I'm glad that I could give you a path to permanent residency in your life for your dream to live in Japan. I'm really happy that my video could help you out. I learned it is wa is equals, just like Japanese math. Yeah, I mean, kind of, but not really. Like if you just say like, in this case, like kare equals convenience store going. I mean, it kind of works, but not really. Like he is not literally the act of going to the convenience store, which would be what you're saying here. It kind of works sometimes because it kind of goes in place of the word is a lot of times when you translate things to English. But I would try to move away from that thinking the person he equals going to the store. The person going to the store is him. He is going to the store. He equals going to the store. The person going to the store is him. Yeah, I mean, I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. I mean, at the end of the day, like particles are like an art as much as they are a science, and you just kind of have to get used to it. And whatever like methodology works in your brain for you to like wrap your head around it, use it. It's not how I would teach it, but if it works for you, then use it. So what is what they are doing, but ga is who's doing it. Essentially in that sense. I'll give another example since we're on the topic. I don't want to give you guys a half-assed answer here, but I'll let you guys try to answer it first. So, このカバンは高い. So this bag is expensive. I want you guys to tell me what you think the difference is here. So このカバンは高い versus このカバンが高い. Okay, while I write this out, let me know what you think the difference is in chat, and don't be afraid to be wrong. Because I literally asked my Japanese friend for clarification on wa versus ga like literally like a few months ago. Because it's such a nuanced topic. So don't be afraid to make mistakes, but like write down what you guys think this could mean. Like the differences with wa versus ga here. So this bag is expensive. So this is how it would be translated in English, and it would be the exact same translation for both, but there is a difference. So このカバンは高い。このカバンが高い. Here, let's put this further up here. Doesn't need to be so far away from everything. Whoop. So why is like who, what is done, and got who does it? Kind of. Ga, I think who does it is good understanding. Wa is like what is done. You could think about it in that sense, but we're really focusing on like what about this person? Kare wa. Like whatever comes before the wa is the topic of the sentence. And then like whatever comes after it just kind of describes about that. So you could kind of think of it in an abstract sense, like what is done or what is going on in relation to that topic. But I would say it's more like, rather than what is done, it's what about this person, like what I wrote here. What about them? What extra information am I about to get about this subject, about this topic, I should say. And Kiridali is a good resource. So let me give you guys the answer here. So I'm gonna try to get everything in frame here. So yeah. So このカバンは高い。このカバンが高い. What is the freaking difference? So このカバンは高い. So say you bought a bag that is expensive. Okay, you got a freaking Louis Vuitton bag, and for some reason you're just flexing on all your poor friends, saying like, this bag's expensive, guys. Like check it out. Like this one costs $2,000. All right, ballin'. So you would say このカバンは高い. This bag is expensive. You just like at a dinner party, and for some reason you feel the urge to pull out your expensive bag and you say このカバンは高い. So speaking of this bag, it's expensive. So what about X? What about this bag? So このカバン, this bag. So what is coming after このカバン? So this is our topic. このカバン, this bag. So what about it? So what about this bag? It's expensive. What about it? It's expensive. That's what that person is saying. このカバンは高い. So versus このカバンが高い. So you wouldn't say このカバンが高い in that sense. Think of it like you go to a bag store. So you have all these bags in this bag store, and they're all, say, regularly reasonably priced bags, you know, $50 to $100. But then one of the bags is a $2,000 Louis Vuitton bag, just this one bag. And you pick it up and you say, このカバンが高い. このカバンが高い. This bag is expensive. Why are we saying ga here? Because we're saying who or what is doing the action. You might not think there's an action here, but there is. It's the act of being expensive. 高い. So who or what is doing it? This bag is doing it. このカバンが高い. Not all the other dirt cheap $50 bags, but this bag. That's why you're emphasizing it with ga. このカバンが高い. このカバンが高い. You wouldn't say このカバンは高い because there's no emphasis. Because I mean, you could still say it, it would make sense, but the point is you're trying to emphasize that this is the bag doing the action. So that's why the ga subject marker can sound very emphatic in these cases, because you're saying not the others, but this one is the one doing the action, in this case being expensive. So that's a second example for you guys. And even with those two examples, if you still don't get it, don't worry about it. Like, it is a very nuanced topic, and like wa and ga are things that you learn at the N5 level, so you think they're very basic, and you do use them all the time, so they're basic in that sense, but the differences can be very nuanced. So don't worry about the subtle differences if you don't get them. Just learn sentences, repeat them, listen to other people talking, and you'll just slowly pick it up. You'll slowly pick it up and it'll come to you naturally. But hopefully maybe this gives you just a little bit of a background. Even if you don't get it, just keep it in the back of your head, and maybe after some time of listening to a bunch of sentences, you can come back to it and you think, okay, that kind of makes more sense now. I can see why ga is more emphatic in this case. So yeah, there you go. My brother from another mother, I don't get the differences in the sentences. Now it kind of makes sense. I'm glad you can kind of get it. So with the bag example, wa is focusing on the general value, but ga focuses on the fact it's one bag expensive. So ga, I'll say your ga understanding here is correct. Ga is focusing on the fact that this one bag is expensive. In fact, this one is doing the action. This one, yes. But wa is focusing on the general value. It's focusing on not the general value, but it's focusing on just this bag. It's just saying we are now talking about this bag. We weren't talking about this bag before, it wasn't in context, but now we're talking about this bag. That's why it's called the topic marker, because it basically determines what you're now talking about in this conversation. このカバンは高い. So by the way, this bag is expensive. This bag is expensive. このカバンは高い. About this bag, it's expensive. And then you just put the details on afterwards. It's very subtle, but I think you guys are starting to get it. And Choco, so sorry I'm late. No worries. Thanks for dropping by. Love to see you around. And you are just in time for us to switch to life in Japan related questions. So yeah, if you guys have any life in Japan related questions, feel free to put them in and I'll get around to them. Went a little bit over time, but I had a feeling we were, because someone asked wa versus ga like 3 minutes before the time switch, and I knew this topic was not going to get done in that fast of time, but it is an important topic, so I thought I'd cover it. So ha is used to introduce a new topic in a conversation. Yep. And use it in the following sense. What about? Yes. And here you can use wa and explain. Once it is established what you're talking about, you can use ga. Yep. So ga can also just be like kind of a neutral, like what is doing the action kind of thing. Yeah, for sure. I think what you're saying there is pretty accurate. Jago. And glad Dark Text, thank you for joining, and I'm glad my explanation could be helpful. It is definitely a very nuanced topic. So it's tricky. It's a tricky one to wrap your head around. So how important is getting a college degree for jobs in Japan? It's yeah. So Japan is still very traditional in this sense. They would like you to have a college degree in general. The thing is, they do not care what the degree is in. They care more about what school you went to, perhaps. Like if you went to a really highly ranked school in like, but you had a degree in like the arts or of like some random field that is unrelated to like this science related job, they don't care for the most part. They're like, oh my God, you graduated from this high tier university, you're on board. And then if you're from like a regular ass university, then they're like, okay, great, you have a degree, cool. But yeah, they don't care what the degree is, but they usually want you to have a degree, because getting a degree for, I think, in the sense of the Japanese companies, it just shows that you know how to follow the rules and you can stick to it long enough and you can graduate. I think that's literally all they care about, because they don't really care about what the degree itself is. I would say, yeah, they like fresh grads. I've talked about this before. Like, they like hiring fresh graduates, because when you're a fresh grad, new piece of meat, when they hire you, they expect you to be there for life, at least a very long time, because it's your first job and they expect you to stick to your first job for a long time. It is possible to do well in Japan without a college degree. I mentioned this before. My buddy, I have a buddy who doesn't have a college degree, and he's working for a very good company now. But, you know, as I mentioned before, he is very, what was the word I used? Resourceful. He's very resourceful. Like, he's willing to work the hard jobs, the long hours, and just slowly like work his way up and figure out what he enjoys, and goes through like the shitty work culture in different companies, and then uses his connections to move to the next one, and then apply to the next one and work his way up. And then he has the experience, then he can move to the next one. So it is possible to do without a degree, but I would say for sure you want to be able to speak English and Japanese. Like, for sure. If you don't have if you don't have a college degree, you want to speak English and Japanese, because if you only speak English and you don't have a college degree, like, what do you have? Like, think about it from like the company's perspective. Like, if you are in Japan but you don't speak Japanese, like, how are you going to communicate with the coworkers or the customers, right? So to make up for the fact you don't speak Japanese, you'd have to have, you know, ideally a degree, but at least like a very specialized knowledge in some field, that even though if you can't talk to your coworkers or customers very effectively, your specialized knowledge is just so valuable that they want to hire you anyways. Like, you are like a freaking nuclear power plant engineer, and there's only like 20 of you in the country, right? So that would make up for it, and usually you would have a degree for that, and that would make up for saying not having Japanese. But if you don't have that very specialized knowledge, then the best thing you can do is be able to speak Japanese and English, because bilingual speakers in Japan are just so rare. Like, they're so rare. Like, you guys know, if you're learning Japanese is such a hard language to learn because it's so different from English. And that means that English is a hard language to learn for Japanese people. So that's why there's no bilinguals here. So since it's so rare, if you do speak both languages, it's so much easier to get jobs, because you can not only talk to your coworkers, talk to Japanese customers, but now you can deal with foreign customers or tourists, or you can communicate with the overseas branch, or you can become managers of your company, because now you can talk to headquarters, which are based in the UK, while you're still based in Japan, and talking to your coworkers in Japan. Like, it's just such a valuable skill to have that it'll help make up for the lack of education, like formal education. You should always get educated, in my opinion. I think formal education is becoming more and more obsolete, you know, in the modern age. But Japan is still traditional in that sense, that they would like you to have a degree. But if you don't have a degree, I really recommend that you speak both Japanese and English. That's my answer. Yeah. Yeah, we got a lot of questions in the chat. It's hard to get to them all. I mean, if you have like questions you want me to like really go in depth in answering, then like please put them in the Q&A. But how much better would you say your life is in Japan compared to something in America? I know you're Canadian. I'm glad you know I'm Canadian. I mean, I can't compare it to America, right? Because like I don't know what life in America is like, really. It's just what I hear on the news. But yeah, I mean, I'd say my life is better in the fact that it's more convenient. Like, Japan is great because like transportation is so much better. Like, Canada is so freaking big, bro. Like, you think it's great, like, oh my god, it's Canada, we have so much land, look at all my huge lawn of all my grass. First of all, I hate cutting the grass. Mowing the lawn was the worst thing growing up. Second of all, because there's so much land, transportation is so inefficient. Like taking the train in Canada is dumb almost because it's so slow and there are no real good train systems in the city because it's not densely populated enough to be worth it. Maybe if you're in Toronto or like another major city, you kind of have something. But even then, like they're not super efficient with their land space because they have so much that there's parking lots everywhere in general. And then the suburbs, and you just like, you spend forever driving just to like get to one part of the town to the other. Whereas in like Osaka, which is a comparable huge city, I just take the subway and I can literally get anywhere I want in the city in about 30 minutes. Like anywhere essentially in the city in 30 minutes, usually a little bit less. And that's just such an advantage. So Japan is just so much more convenient in that sense. It's safer. I mean, I've never really feared for my safety in Canada. But you know, nowadays, like I'll leave my phone or like my computer at my table when I'm studying at a cafe and just go to the bathroom because I know no one's going to steal it. I wouldn't do that in Canada because like that shit is going to get swiped. Like it'd probably be okay, but I wouldn't risk it. Like it'll more than likely get swiped. Whereas in Japan, no one steals things. They anti-steal in Japan. Like if they see a wallet on the ground, they will return it to the police office. And then I literally had a coworker who lost his wallet and he had just withdrawn cash. So he had $500 cash in his wallet that he dropped. And then he went to the police office nearby and they're like, oh yeah, here's your wallet. Someone returned it. Like if that was another country, like maybe if you're lucky, you get the wallet back, but there's no cash left. But for the most part, your wallet's probably just long gone. And that person just thought it's the luckiest day of their life. But yeah, it's Japan. So they returned this wallet with $500 of cash in it. So, I mean, that's Japan. And I could go on and on. Like the food's great. Entertainment's great. We got karaoke, bars, late night, and of course, my content. Like I love exploring Japan and making videos on how to learn Japanese or life in Japan here. You know, it's just, for me personally, it is a lot better here. But nothing wrong with Canada. Like it's obviously like a newer country for me here, and that's a bias that I have. Maybe for Japanese people, Japan's kind of more boring because they've lived here their whole life, whereas Canada would be more exciting. But yeah, I really like my life here, and that's why if you're interested in Japan, you know, I would really recommend moving here and learning the language if you can, because it'll really upgrade your experience if you do visit here, and it's an awesome country. There you go. Yeah. All right. I will get to the next question in the Q&A as I take a drink of water. My mouth is getting dry out here. All right. Is Japanese being silently conquered by English loanwords? Yes and no. I would say yes and no. Definitely, excuse me. Definitely there is a bigger and bigger influx of English words into Japanese. Like it is ridiculous how many English words are in Japanese. I think we just English words in Japanese in Japan, Japanese. It's like insane. A big, I don't think that's one. So like ice cream or like idol, ice cream. Like even like, it's funny. So there's like kind of, how many patterns would I say there are? I'd say yeah, there's two patterns of English words in Japanese. So one is legitimately the word did not exist in Japan before. And so when it was introduced by foreign culture, they're like, oh, we never had this word before. So let's just use the foreign word in our language, like computer. Like a computer was invented overseas and then it was introduced to Japan. So they didn't have a native word for computer. So they say computer. Makes sense, right? Same with ice cream. It's ice cream or just ice because it was probably invented outside of Japan. Makes sense. But what is kind of funny is that the second pattern, there are words that they don't really need, but they use it anyways. Like orange, like the word like orange, like the color, orange. They didn't need that word. They have a color, like they have a word for the word orange. Like it's ridiculous. It's like daidairo, daidairo. And you probably will never really need to know this word, but I'm just gonna flex on you guys because I know it. So daidairo, see that? This is like their original word for the word orange. And I don't know why, but now they just say orange. Why? What was the purpose? They had the word, but then it just like now orange, maybe it's easier to say than daidairo. Sounds kind of harsh, daidairo. But yeah, I don't know. So in that sense, it is being slightly conquered by English words a little bit, but you know, it's a slow process. But part of that second pattern is also that a lot of like slang is in English, like kind of how we in English, we use foreign words to sound fancier, like s'il vous plaît or bon appétit, right? Or like buongiorno, like it sounds like, ooh, it's foreign and he's so like sophisticated and funny. They do the same thing using English and Japanese. Like they'll say like wanchang, wanchang, wanchang. And this is like made up English, by the way. So wanchang, literally like spelled like this, wanchang. It literally means one chance. One chance. And it's just a abbreviation of that, wanchang. And it just means like maybe. It literally just means maybe. So maybe I can go to the party. Wanchang party ikeru yo. Wanchang. It's like there's a chance I can go to that party. But like you can say that in Japanese, like party ni iku kamoshirenai yo. Party ni iku kamo yo. Like maybe I'll go. Kamu, kamo, kamo, like maybe, kamo. But they just like have slang that's based on English because it sounds fancy and fun. Wanchang, one chance. Made up English, but that is what it is. Yeah. I guess the Ito died. Yes, Toxina, my beautiful editor. It did die very hard as a color. So maybe it was just destined to die in the beginning because whoever invented orange in Japan just did not name it properly. But did you know another word? So there's a word for this in Japanese where it's like made up English. Like it does not mean the same in English, but it sounds like English. It's called waseigo. I'll write it here, waseigo. Waseigo. It's literally like Japanese manufactured English. And it says here, Japanese word constructive of elements from one or more English terms. And it's pseudo-English because it was made in Japan, but it sounds like Japanese. Or sorry, it was made in Japan, but it sounds like English. So another one, this one blew my mind so much. So, fetchi. Fetchi. So what do you think that means? What English word do you think that is? Fetchi. Fetish. Means fetish. Now, in English, fetish is like, yeah, it's like sexual, right? Like you have a kink, you're like into it. But like in Japanese, maybe this is just my misunderstanding of the word in English. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but in my opinion, it's like very sexual. Like, oh, you're just like really into this kinky whatever. But in Japanese, it's kind of like that, but it's a little more loosely used. It's more loosely used. Like you can say this just to say like you're kind of into it. Like, oh, like you would say it in like a sense of like I'm into this thing for like, you know, like if you're a girl, like, oh, I like when guys have like, you know, when they're tall, or like I like when they have like beards. Like I'm just into that. You say fetchi. But like we don't use it like that in English, I'm pretty sure. So a little culture / language shock I had is like I was dating a Japanese girl and her 14-year-old cousin, female 14-year-old cousin, said she has a fetish for deep voices. And I was like, what? You're 14. Why do you have a fetish already? Like, what is going on here? I thought Japan was like pure and like everyone's like an anime girl like out here. Like, you know, that's a misconception on my part, but like still like, what are you doing having a fetish at 14? But then I learned like linguistically, it's just like fetchi. It's literally just like you're into it. And that's an example of like waseigo, made up English in Japanese. So there are examples of it, you know, kind of overtaking Japanese as a language, but it also just kind of makes it more fun. You know, it's like kind of flavoring for their language. Hey, Tokuyuu just came in. What's the topic? Hello, Take One Studios. We are talking about life in Japan, and someone just asked about loanwords specifically, if they're taking over the Japanese language. And low-key they are, but I mean, the Japanese language is what it is. Like, it's not going away. Maybe because it's easier to say and foreigners would have a better chance at recognizing it as similar to the English word. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're doing it for foreigners, like to be accommodating to foreigners. Like, why would the Japanese people be like, you know, the foreigners are going to struggle with our word for orange, so let's use their word. You know, unless it was like a very specific, important, like, event in history, like that they must, you know, use that so that other people can understand them. But yeah, it probably, I would agree with your part where you say it's probably just easier for them to say. Orenji is easier to say than daidairo. So that's probably what it is. Probably ease of speaking, easier pronunciation. I was hearing fetchy. Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounds like, right? Fetchy. I mean, it just sounds like fetish, but with like a Y, like fetishy, fetchy. But because there's no like T sound in Japanese, it's like chi. It becomes chi, fetchy. We also have that in Italian. We say smart working, meaning work from home. That's funny. That is so funny. I didn't know that Italian would have that as well. Smart working. Because like Italian is like so much closer to like English as a language. So you'd think that they would just know what the literal meaning of the word is, so they wouldn't use that. But I mean, they probably know what it actually means, but they're just using it in their own way that they want to. Thank you, Christian, for sharing that fun fact. That's so funny. Everyone's doing it. I think French does it too. Like my friend who speaks French and English both natively, he says that the French language does suffer a lot by just borrowing just so many words from English that it's literally just becoming like half English at this point. Top footage for culture shock short. Yeah. What is my biggest culture shock in Japan is a 14-year-old girl saying that she has fetish. that'll get views. A 14-year-old girl saying she has a fetish. Yeah, there you go. And that short, I shout out to you, Nubis. My number one culture shock in Japan. 14-year-old girl is saying she has a fetish. Yes, can we look at other questions? We can, no. Someone clipped that. Yeah, I wish there was a clip function on YouTube. Okay, next question. Thank you for giving me some time to drink some water. So I'm in 9th from India. So I'm guessing you mean the 9th grade. I've started studying Japanese. How much time will it take for me to become fluent in Japanese? So yeah, I get this question all the time. How long does it take to get fluent in Japanese? It depends. It 100% depends on how much time you're willing to put into it and how much time you're willing to put into resources that actually work and not just freaking Duolingo. Like if you have Duolingo downloaded, please just delete it immediately. Like if you take the time to say learn hiragana, katakana, kanji, grammar, like all that boring shit that no one wants to do, learn new vocab. I get it. No one wants to do that, especially in the beginning, because they all just look like random symbols and words and a mush of letters, and like just sitting at a desk studying is not what you think of when you think of learning Japanese. Like I'm listening to anime, right? But if you can take the time to even just learn that 30 minutes a day, every day, and then once you have a good base of knowledge, then you do some speaking and listening practice as well, of course, then fluency, I mean, I'd say N3 is like conversational fluency. I think you could get N3 in about a year and a half. Excuse me. I think you get N3 in about a year and a half or 2 years. Maybe even sooner. Like if you, maybe a year and a half, 2 years for like about a half hour a day. If like a very solid, diligent half hour, like you're doing the real studying for half an hour, I think a year and a half you could get N3, and that's like conversational fluency. Of course, if you put more time into it, like 2 hours a day of like this solid studying every day, you could get it in like less than a year, I think. 100%. But it all depends what you put into it, and not just how much time you put into it, but how much time you put into the hard studying that no one wants to do, right? Because that's what really just separates the men from the boys here. Because everyone loves doing Duolingo because it's so fun. You just click it and da-ding, oh, I got the right answer. I said rice is gohang, yay. Like, you're not gonna get fluent like that, okay? So yeah, if you do your real studying and you do it every day, consistency is key, then I think you get fluent in like a year, like conversational fluency, like reasonably conversationally fluent in a year. And if you're talking about like work fluency or like real everyday fluency where you're not struggling, again, how much time do you put into it every day? But again, I would say that'd be like at least 2 or 3 years, maybe more. Again, depending on how consistent you are and how much you put into it. But at the end of the day, like you're never gonna get it perfect at a language, right? Like language learning is infinite. Like there are always gonna be new words, new slang you're gonna learn, or like some cultural stuff that you never knew. And that's part of the fun. Like I like that. I've been studying Japanese for 12 years, but I'm still learning something new every day. And it's just like, I like that it's an endless challenge that I always get to keep pursuing, because if I completed it, I'm sure it'd feel great, but then, you know, I don't get to keep doing it. And I love doing it. So yeah, just be patient with it and learn to enjoy the process. Yeah, Nubis, it does depend how much time you invest. Thank you. It needs to be said more often, because it's not going to be the same. Like, you know, someone's 2 years are going to look very vastly different depending on how much they put into it. Yeah, Yusef, you as well. You get it. You guys get it. Little Uzi, nice to see you out here. You put in like 3 hours a day, is it possible to get conversational in 1 year? 100%. 100%. 3 hours a day is massive. If you could do that every day for a year, you can get very good. If you're doing like this, the focus studying too, you could get N1 easily. Or sorry, N2 easily. N1 possible with 3 hours a day, but probably you'd want a little bit more time potentially, but N2 for sure doable with 3 hours a day of real studying. And Real Trash Panda, in my opinion, Duo was only good for the initial hiragana katakana learning. I do hear that a lot from people. And yeah, if it works for people getting hiragana and katakana, then great, use it. I'm not against that. And it gamifies the process. That is what Duolingo does well, right? Like their marketing is goated, and the gamified function and the animations they have and the competitiveness and the XP, great functions. I love how they built their app, but the content is just so not good. Like the grammar, garbage. Explanations, garbage. Speaking, garbage. So yeah, if it works for the kana, then yeah, you can totally use it, in my opinion. I mean, you can use whatever you want, like it's your life, but I just don't recommend it. But for the kana, potentially, I could see that. Is 12 hours a week good for N3 within 1 to 5 years? 12 hours a week would be what, almost 2 hours a day? A little less than that? That's solid. N3, yeah, I would say that's good for N3 within a year. Yeah, year and a half. That's what we're talking about. Basically, you're doing 2 hours a day for a year and a half, 100%. Hello from Nagoya, Dusty Cat. Nice to see you out here. But excuse me, it's been a while. Hello from Nagoya. Hope you're enjoying your life there. Hope you're settling in. Do you still actively study every day though? Like, are you at fluent level? Yeah, I'm at a fluent level, but I do still actively study every day. Like I picked up doing the flashcards again every day because again, it's a constant learning practice, and I still do shadowing and I still practice like speaking to myself in Japanese at my home and like just try to make things sound more natural, because I do think I could get more fluent and more smooth and more comfortable with it. And of course, just always learning new vocab. So yeah, I'm fluent in my opinion, but still learning for sure. Especially since it's something I'm trying to teach you guys. Like I should be on point with my Japanese as well. 3 hours a day, but gradually. At least for me, it's impossible to start doing that from nothing. Yeah, Take One Studios. That's a very good point. Like starting right off that with 3 hours a day when you don't know what that time commitment feels like can be very overwhelming for sure. If you have the time and you know you can stick to it, go for it. But yeah, building up might be a good approach for sure. Couldn't be there for the last stream because I had to study for my math exam. Yeah, definitely prioritize your school. Hope the math exam went well though, Lucy. How many years does it take to reach N4? Again, depends how much you put into it. Duolingo just seems to be like they reskinned Google Translate as game. We all know Google Translate is not good for any language. Yeah, I mean it's not like a translation app by any means, but it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just, they really just focus on making it bite-sized, and it's just, they just don't focus enough on actually teaching people real foundational grammar concepts and building up their knowledge and having them actually build sentences instead of just doing multiple choice. Yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with it. I'm glad my advice could help you out, Dusty Cat. And it's going great and feeling like home. That's amazing. Yeah, awesome to hear. Glad you're starting to sell it, and it does just take time, and glad to hear you're getting there. All right, let's try to move on to the next question. Don't want to leave too many of these on unread. Another swig of water. Okay, I am a senior engineer in a huge company, huge, absolutely tremendously huge, and have a master's degree from a reputable institution globally. Like, is this a question or are you just flexing on us? And I want to move to Japan, but struggling to get momentum with the learning process. Do you know if it's possible to get an English speaking job while still learning the language in Japan? Huge company, huge. Master's degree from a reputable, and yeah. So you're working for probably a well-known company, and you have a master's degree, and you want to move to Japan, but you just don't know the Japanese yet. I think you can move to Japan, but definitely keep working on learning the language, because in general, workplaces would like you to have N2 or N1. Like, there's new visa changes coming into effect where you're going to need N2. So like, I'll say that again. There are new visa requirements coming out in Japan that you will need N2 to live here. Specifically for the humanities engineering visas. And that sounds very applicable to your case. So it hasn't come into effect yet. When is it here? So when will you need N2 for humanities engineering visa? So when is it required? So if you have interpersonal roles, yeah, when, what date? Tell me the date. When is it in effect? When in effect? Come on. Oh, it went into effect, past tense, April 15th. So there you go. So it is already, I take that back. If you're trying to get a visa, a work visa in Japan on the engineering humanities visa, you will need N2. If you have a job that requires Japanese language, you will need N2. Before, you could just kind of fudge it a little bit, like, okay, like I need to speak to Japanese coworkers and maybe some customers, but like I kind of just do my own work and let my coworkers kind of handle it for me a little bit, and I just like kind of study on the side. It's not going to cut it. Like, they will not give you a visa anymore. You need to have N2. So just practically speaking, for your case, you might struggle getting a work visa if you don't have an N2 level certification yet. But if you can find a role in Japan where you don't need to be in these interpersonal language roles, jobs heavily rely on Japanese communication, like client services, sales, public relations. If you're just in the back end and just working on like doing, I don't know, engineer company, senior engineer. I mean, I don't know what kind of engineering you're doing, but if you're just doing like designs or like research, then maybe you could get away with it if you can do all that work in English, but it's really going to limit you in your options. So yeah, really definitely keep focusing on learning the language, and you can try to apply this to some jobs because you're highly qualified and you have clearly some work experience in a well-known company, and that will definitely help. But yeah, at the end of the day, you want to keep working on your Japanese. Yeah. And thank you, Anubis, for the 5 gifted memberships. You were saying you were a small fish out here, but you're out here balling out with 5. Thank you so much for the support, man. Appreciate you. And I appreciate you always asking great questions as well and being here in the chat and inspiring some great shorts as well. This has been really helping grow the channel too. So thank you so much. Yeah, and 100%. I swear, when I see the question on how long it takes, I'm like, 100%. It really depends what you put into it. 100%. Like, everyone's path is different because it just depends how much you put into it and what you put into it, what resources you do. Yeah. And Rohit with the 5 gifted memberships. Oh my goodness. You are popping off this stream. Have you even been talking in chat? You're just like this silent benefactor for the channel. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. My goodness, we're literally gonna just run out of people to like give memberships to, but thank you so much. We're eating with this. We are making new emotes for sure with this. We're making it out of the 12 emote hood. And Take One, thank you so much for the super chat. Your video on the point system gave me strength. Really glad that my video on PR could help give you a path forward, because it was just all gray for me. I had no idea what was going on. So I really wanted to make that clear for everybody that there is a path forward. So I'm glad I could help you out. And Nubis can smell the emotes. Yeah, I'm smelling the emotes too. I gotta work on them. Can't wait to make something new. And if you guys have any ideas for emotes that you would like to have, then let me know. Like, what are some like emotions that you want to express in the chat that you feel aren't being expressed? I could try making some animated ones. Like, I could like hire someone to make some animated ones if you think that would be fun. Let me know what you guys like. Yeah, but it is, yeah, back to the question, like, it is getting harder to kind of fudge your way into Japan without knowing Japanese. Like, of course, the English teacher route will always be there, but not everyone wants to be an English teacher. So yeah, ideally no N2, and your doors will just open up so much for getting into Japan, because then you'll be business level Japanese, and bilinguals, like we mentioned earlier, are just so sought after in Japan. You will be so set. Not to mention your life in Japan will be so much better because you can just talk to people, anybody, because you can speak and understand Japanese. So 100%, please learn the language. That's what I say. And thank you, Dusty Cat, for sending a gifted membership. Everyone out here feeling generous today is insane. Thank you guys so much for the support. Really appreciate it. And again, lovely seeing you in the chat after so long, and I'm glad you're settling into Nagoya. I love that the emotes are from the videos. That's so cool. That's great. I'm glad. Yeah, I love making the emotes from like the videos, because it's like a little shout out to those, like, if you know kind of thing. Yeah, glad you like that. Okay, I'll try to keep it based on the video emotes then, and if I can, maybe try to find ways to emote them, like say with the laughing one, maybe animate the tears coming out. I don't know what would make them better, but I'll definitely be making some more emotes coming up soon. The RNG gods have yet to bless you. That is, well, you missed the freaking membership train that freaking Neo and Rohit were driving earlier, if you weren't here earlier, because they were just handing out gifted emotes like they're hotcakes. So if you stick around long enough, then I'm sure the RNG gods will bless you. All right, next question. For people in the hood, which is more important? Would you prioritize speaking Japanese or getting a college degree to live, thrive, get a job in Japan? I think you already know my answer. Learn Japanese. Please, for the love of God. If you're moving to Japan, please learn Japanese. It is the single best thing you can do for your life. Your job opportunities will increase. You can meet so many new people, because 98% of people in Japan speak Japanese and they don't understand English. So that's 98% of the population that you can actually talk to, build relationships with, friendships with, date with, etc. And then you just understand the world around you. You can read signs, you can read menus, you can watch anime, you can watch the news, you can just like listen to conversations around you. Like, professionally and personally, learning the language is the best thing you can do. And for the 50,000th time, if you can speak English and Japanese, you are so sought after in a job market sense, because English Japanese bilinguals are so rare. Like, it is such a rare skill to have that companies will like lick you up, bro. They want you to come to them. So, so please, if you're trying to come to Japan, learn the language. And if you can get a college degree on top of that, even better. And Neo, thank you for being a member for 1 month now. That's amazing. Double pedal life and another 10 gifted memberships out here blessing it up. Thank you so much. My goodness, please don't eat too much into your tournament winnings out here, but Sasuga, you are destroying all the scrubs at the tournaments with your skills. Thank you so much for spreading the love. It's amazing. And King Julian, congrats on getting blessed by the RNG gods and by Neo the goat himself. That's amazing. Now this is spare. All right, man. I love to hear it. Flexing on us with your endless amount of tournament winnings. That's amazing. Glad to hear, man. Thank you so much for spreading the love. Yeah, is this even a question? 100%. And Take One Studios, thank you so much for the super chat with the peach. Is there a reason you sent a peach? Is it because it looks like a specific body part or something? You trying to send a subliminal message here? Thank you so much for the super chat. Take One Studios. How to get the RNG God's blessings? You just gotta pray up, pray up. It was worth it. Just inspiring. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Got some money this stream. Yeah, I mean, you guys have been amazing. So much support. Get some money and some new emotes. So excited. All right, try to answer a couple more questions here because we're getting close to our time. So where do you recommend visiting on your first trip to Japan? Okay, so where should you visit when you first visit Japan? Obviously, we all know the Holy Triangle: Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto. And honestly, you can totally go to those. There is nothing wrong with going to Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto. They are the Holy Trinity for a reason. Like, there's so much to do in those cities. They're major. The only problem is, because they're so major, it is filled with tourists. Like, you go to any of the major temples in Kyoto, it is like shoulder to shoulder in those temples. Like, if you wanted the nice relaxing tranquility in the temple as you pray to the gods, like, good luck, because there's Chinese, Korean, German, French. You're not even listening to Japanese. It's just all foreign languages around you with people trying to take pictures and like maybe bumping you. Like like definitely go to those spots, and like, because the monuments and the temples are still amazing, but if you want tranquility, maybe don't go there unless you're willing to wake up at 5 in the morning. I would, if you want a tranquility like experience, in my opinion, I would mix in a little bit of rural stuff as well. Like, for sure, do the Holy Trinity, but maybe keep that to 50 to 75% of your trip, and then look into some other places you can go. Like, you know, Nara is a classic, but it's a little bit less crowded than Kyoto. Or if you're feeling even more adventurous, you can go to Wakayama. It's even more rural. Or maybe Mie. Like, these prefectures that you don't really hear of, but all the prefectures in Japan, there's 47 prefectures in Japan, and they all have their own specialties. Like, they all have their unique tourist places. Like, I've been to like at least 25 now, at least 25, maybe 30 or so by now. They all have something unique and special about them. Like, they're all worth visiting. And if you just do a little bit of research, like, literally you can go on a map of Japan, find a random prefecture and look up famous tourist site in Tottori or whatever prefecture. You'll find some good ones to visit. And yeah, maybe it's not as spectacular as Kiyomizu-dera in Kyoto, like the most famous one, or like 1,000 torii gates, you know, whatever. But like, it's still a great experience, and it feels more authentic. Like, it's more off the beaten path, and you can still do the Holy Trinity for like most of your trip, but then just add like 1 or 2 like side spots. Like, I went to Nakasendo the other day with my mom, I guess the other month, and that was really nice. Like, it's like the original path from Kyoto to Tokyo that the old samurai and other travelers used to go on, and it's just so scenic. Like, it's almost like a mini Kyoto, but that's like, it's still like, they're houses from the Edo period that are still intact today because they've been preserved. And there weren't a lot of tourists there. Like, we were walking through the path, and for lots of the path, we were the only ones there. And it's just like, it's like you have to have that experience, in my opinion, in Japan. Like, you got to go to some of the off the beaten trails in Japan, and there's so many places to see in Japan that you can find them if you look. All right, just don't watch TikToks that have 20 million views, because obviously you're going to be there with 20 million other people. All right, so do that for most of your trip. If it's your first time, for sure, hit the major spots, but try to go off the beaten track just for like a couple days, and I think it'll really enhance your trip, and you'll get a nice balance of mainstream Japan as well as like some real authentic spots in Japan. Nakasendo is a good one if you want a concrete example, and it's pretty convenient to get to because it's like relatively near Osaka, a little further north, but you can get there fairly easily. And Rohit, thank you again for sending 5 gifted memberships. Just driving this train endlessly out here. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Just staying the silent benefactor out here is insane. Crazy work. Thank you so much for the support. I don't know how many times I can thank you, but I really appreciate your constant support. It really means a lot. Is Fujisawa good for a tourist? There's a beach there. Fujisawa. I actually don't know what Fujisawa is. In Kanagawa Prefecture. I had no idea. So it's in the same prefecture as Yokohama. Aquarium. Looks like a coastal city. Yeah, I mean, this looks like a nice temple. I mean, I've never heard of it, so I mean, probably not too many tourists, I imagine. So yeah, 100%. And again, like, it's in Kanagawa, so it's probably like very convenient to get to. Like, if we just say, not google.com, but Google Maps. Fujisawa. And say transportation there. And then we start at Yokohama Station. Yeah, 20 minutes from Yokohama Station. Like, that is ridiculously convenient. And even if you're just like in Tokyo, 45 minutes, like 48 minutes. Like, that's so good. Like there's so many of these places that like I've never heard of, and probably a lot of tourists have never heard of, that are within a very reasonable traveling distance from major cities. And then you can just go as like a day trip or like a half day. Or if you want to stay the night, you can stay the night in a nice place. And 100%, like, you just like look up a bunch of these places and go somewhere that's a little off the beaten trail. Maybe it's not like got Instagrammable pictures that are like, you know, gonna hit 20 million views, but there's so many hidden gems that you can really find a good place. I've never heard of this one. There's a beach there. That's pretty cool. It doesn't stop. Do not stop, Nubis. If you do Sapporo, Sendai, Tokyo, you'd absolutely enjoy it. Need Japanese for it though. Yeah, I mean, I think Sapporo and Tokyo, you're okay with English. I mean, definitely having Japanese helps for anything. Sendai is still a big city, but yeah, it's still smaller, but they're all major cities. So I think English, you'd probably be okay for the most part, as best as you could be in Japan. And then it's like a nice little like line, right? Because Hokkaido, Sapporo is like up north, and then you go down to Sendai and then down to Tokyo. Yeah, that'd be like a nice kind of like mix up, because you're still going to Tokyo, a major one, but then you're going to a couple of little lesser gone to places like Sendai and Sapporo. 100%. And does over tourism get it any better early December? Yeah, I would say, what is peak time? I would say peak tourism is probably March. Of course, Sakura season, the cherry blossoms. Everyone wants to see the cherry blossoms going. So December is probably better. I think summer is also off season, surprisingly, because you'd think a lot of people are here for summer vacation, but summer in Japan also kind of sucks because it's so freaking hot. So I think it can still be pretty busy in December. I think fall and spring are the busiest. I have a friend who works with like tourists in Tokyo, And I think what he told me was that spring and fall are the busiest months. So I think if you're in December, which will pretty much be the winter season, it will be better. Like you'll be a little bit lower on the wave of tourists. So I would say that probably would be a good bet if you're trying to avoid tourists. The new emotes are going to be also. And could you make a hello emote? Yeah, we can make some hello emotes. That makes sense. Just greet some people. New people to the chat. Makes sense. And we've come to our time for today, but we can chill in the chat for a bit because I'm having fun talking to you guys. And thank you, Nubis, for sending a gifted membership out here. Really appreciate it. You guys are just keeping the train going today. It is insane out here. Thank you so much for the love. I think this is definitely by far like the most like donations I've ever received in a single stream. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. So heartwarming. I was here the whole stream. He can still say hello to you. I recommend Kanazawa, the little Kyoto. Yeah, Kanazawa is also a great one as well. That I have not been to. So I can't really say for sure. But I did try to go because I have a friend who's from that prefecture. What's the prefecture called? Nanchara. Ishikawa, that's what it's called. I have a friend who's from Ishikawa, and Kanazawa is the capital of Ishikawa. Yeah, beautiful city. Famous for their gold. So you can like get some like golden flake ice cream, I think, and you can do some like golden like arts and crafts. It's not as expensive as it sounds because they use like really thin flakes of gold, and you can just kind of like make your own crafts with it. Very cool. And then they have this beautiful garden as well, which is really famous as well. I forget what the garden's called. Maybe it's here. Kendokuen, maybe. That sounds kind of familiar. Probably what this is. But yeah, absolutely beautiful, huge garden. I've only seen the pictures, but yeah, really famous. Yeah, and I would say that's, yeah, I mean, it's popular, but it's definitely no Kyoto. So if you want to go to like a little bit more of a less busy area, then yeah, Kanazawa would definitely be a good shout for sure. Yeah, and sorry, King Julian, the question didn't make it. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of questions that I couldn't get to. But hopefully you're around another time, and hopefully I can get to the question that time. And yeah, it's for sure. It's tricky. Always a balance, you know, balance between trying to read as many questions as I can versus read maybe slightly less questions, but then give more like in-depth answers, right? So it's a trade-off. And little Uzi, good luck on your oral French exam tomorrow. Tokuyuu sensei, Fujisawa and Enoshima are featured in The Rascal Does Not Dream anime and manga. Absolutely love it. Like, you love the manga and anime, or do you love Fujisawa and Enoshima? But yeah, a lot of these places in general are featured in anime or manga. Like Tokyo, like there are specific spots in Tokyo that you can see that are from, like, say, Jujutsu Kaisen or Kimi no Nawa. And people will go to these spots that are like actually inspired of these scenes, you know, in anime. And then you'll just take pictures of it because it's like the exact same angle, you know, like your name in Tokyo. Right. So like there's this scene, right? This famous scene where they like walk by each other. And that's like a real place in Tokyo. Like it's right here. Maybe this is a better one. Maybe let's open this in a new tab. Maybe that'll be easier for you guys to see. Yeah. You know, so that's like the real one on the top and the anime on the bottom. And there's just like a bunch of these places like all over Japan. So that can also be like a fun way to like maybe just pick some destinations, right? Like it doesn't need to be anything fancy, but like maybe you're into anime and manga and you can look up like, oh, it's actually from a specific place. Like, did you know K-On! Anime school? So K-On! Is an anime, like it's these these girls who are here who are part of like a music club. And then there's a school, Keion School Shiga. I can't remember what the name of the school was. Toyosato Station. But I went here, and so like this anime, right? Like it's an anime, like it's about being in school, and you can see like this building here, like this white building, a little bit small, but you can probably still see it. Like it's based on a real school, like right here. It's a real school. Like now it's no longer a school. It's like kind of like open as like a museum. You can walk around it. It's like open air. They still have all the classrooms, and they have like all these like props as well, and they have the guitar on set as well. And I actually have a picture of it on my Instagram. Let's see, Tokuyuu Instagram. This is just an Instagram of a very famous, handsome YouTuber that I know. Stop asking me to sign in. What the hell? I don't want to log in right now. Let me scroll to the bottom. Why does Instagram do this? Oh, okay, I can't show you guys. But if you go to my Instagram, you'll see like there's a picture of me like with a guitar and just like rocking out. I took that picture like in this site. Like in this site in Shiga. And this is in Shiga. Like this is not a very like well-known place in Japan. Like it's like north of Kyoto, right? Like you have Osaka, Kyoto, and then you have Shiga. You know, it's somewhere in Shiga. So like, you know, anime and manga, you can see if there's any actual places that are based in real life Japan. And that could just be a nice way to like basically throw a dart at the map and be like, maybe this will be my next off the beaten track place to visit in Japan. You know, it's a fun little way to do. Is Firefox good to use right now? I'm just using it because it's easier to separate it from my Google Chrome. Like I still use Google Chrome every day. But like my Google Chrome is like linked to like all my like private information and like sign in and stuff. And like while I'm streaming, I just don't want to worry about like having to like expose like credit card information and stuff on my Google Chrome. So I just use the Firefox as like my streaming browser essentially. So, but I have no problems with it. It seems pretty easy to use. But yeah, it is that time of the night, 11:07. We are past our time, but it was a pleasure talking to you guys as always. Thank you so much for asking your lovely questions, and thank you so much for all the support that you sent in the chat, whether it was in the form of like the 50 plus freaking gifted memberships by the goats Neo and Rohit. Like thank you again so much, or the other contributors as well, you know, or if you send super chats, or if you're just talking in the chat as well, like really appreciate all the support that you guys send. Like it really just means so much to me, and it just makes these live streams just so much fun to do because it feels like I'm really connecting with you guys and being able to chat and answer your questions. So thank you guys always so much for showing up. And the money was a pleasure for you. It was our pleasure. Thank you so much, Nubis. Really appreciate it. Yeah. So yeah, and new video will be coming out. Just waiting on a sponsor again, and I have a feeling that the video will be uploaded before my next stream, so keep an eye out for that, and maybe it's something we can talk about next time as well. But in the meantime, I'm still working on scripts for the next videos, and we're gonna really work on trying to get them going. And what is up, Benji? Thank you for catching the end of the stream. Yeah, we are just signing off here, but as always, it's been a pleasure doing a stream with you guys. So yeah, without further ado, whether you stayed for 2 minutes or 2 hours, thank you for tuning into the stream. Really appreciate you guys. And I'll be doing this again in 2 weeks time. So again, from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Sunday, JST. And yeah, ask any questions you have then. But in the meantime, good luck with your studying. Good luck with your Japanese moving to Japan journeys, whatever it is. And yeah, hope to see you next time. And Rohit, the goat, made it out in the chat, this silent benefactor this whole time. Thank you again so much for your love and support. I really appreciate you, man. So anyways, catch you guys next time. And until then, Tokuyuu out.